Like many books, you can only fit so much into a particular book before the publisher starts saying no more. So I wasn't able to actually go through and include a lot of information about views and stored procedures. They are kind of an important part of the ETL process. And in this video, I want to talk about why and how. As I mentioned, I didn't talk much about this particular topic of views and stored procedures, but I did include a couple of examples. This is a SQL view, which is just a save select statement. This selects the data we're going to be using for transformation. Transformations are very simple. They're just, in this case, some column aliases. Still, when I create this view, you'll notice that it's pulling data from a different database than DWPub sales. It's true that I'm combining data from there, but I'm also getting data from the pubs database. Putting it into the data warehouse as a view means that I can query it as if it was part of the data warehouse itself. Now, this also means that I could go ahead and use that query designer to interact with that view as if the table was a part of the sales table in pubs was a part of my data warehouse. There are a couple things that views can't do. Looks like Word fixed it for me. They can't have parameters. So let's say I want to pull over some values from the database, but I want to make sure that it's only fixed on a particular day. I might declare a variable for today's date and pull that over. Views won't let me store that kind of information. Store procedures, on the other hand, will. Store procedures are much more flexible. I could go through and put in a parameter. And then go through and use that in the where clause. I don't need to do that, but that's what you could do, and then you could execute it. Here's another example. And here's how I'd execute it. In this example, let me go back here. Execute the stored procedure, get my data. This example is going to filter based on a particular order date. And I'll get today's date, which isn't going to give us much data because, well, the pubs database is from like the 90s. So you can see how it would work. I pass in today's date, or whatever date I want to pull out, to today's date, and I'd be able to extract the data. Functions are something similar to a view or something similar to a stored procedure. They can evaluate and even be used as a table, but they can also have parameters. A lot of times you'll use them for simple transformations, such as this one. You may remember I was talking about using a select case statement for converting these two-letter abbreviations for the state. If I made a function like this, then I could query it by selecting the data from the function. Let me see, which one has this kind of data? Pubs.dbo.authors, I think, has some state codes. Yep, it does. And so now I can go through and say I want the state and all the other columns. So you can see the state showing up here. I'm just doing that for testing. And then I'll go ahead and apply the function to it. So the function is and some functions demand that you type in database owner in front of them. It's kind of a weird thing, but it's not that difficult to do. But you can see how the transformation has occurred. When it found California, or should I say CA, it replaced with a California. Oregon did the same, and there should be something from Washington in here somewhere. Or maybe not. The null values mean that I just haven't added a case when that would be true. These three tools, stored procedures, views, and functions, are quite handy for performing professional ETL processing. They are considered advanced programming tools, and it may take a while for you to get kind of the hang of them, but certainly if you practice your SQL programming, I think you'll find that they're really quite useful. I could also go ahead and wrap complex statements together. Let's not do that. Now, I can't have go statements in a stored procedure, but I can have most other statements, including declaring variables, inserting, updating, deleting. I think I've got it. Let's see. Uh-oh. Incorrect syntax. Oh, I gotta use the word as. And they do want to go here. Picky, picky, picky. That worked. So now it's just a matter of me being able to go over and execute that stored procedure. And when I did, it would flush and fill the database by just executing that one command. What I'd want to do at that point is probably schedule this to run on a regular basis, which is the topic of our next video. I'll see you there.